Moneyweb now on the money.
Joining now with Sidney Fletcher, Senior Manager, Trust and Deceased Estate Tax Compliance at Tax Consulting SA. Sidney, appreciate the early morning. Local trusts, there seems to be an expectation in the industry that starting in April of this year, SARS is going to start introducing administrative penalties for trusts' non-submission of tax returns. Is this a widespread problem? Certainly, it does seem to be something that maybe SARS has sort of not taken as hard a line as they could have.
Good morning, Simon. Yes, I think in the industry over the years, this has been the case. Although there was a lot of regulation around trust, the enforcement around that wasn't there. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, this was highlighted by the FATF findings a couple of years ago, where they said that the legal framework around preventing money laundering and terrorist funding is solid in South Africa. They don't have a problem with that. It's the administration and the governance around that laws that is the problem. And I think that brought the trust and the public benefit organizations to the fore and actually forced SARS' hand into getting regulation around that. So they have already not threatened, they have already indicated that they wanted the admin penalties to start in December 2024. Mm-hmm. It was postponed after they had some discussions with the registered controlling bodies, and that date has been extended until mid-April 2025.
And this really is, I mean, there's been a lot of reform around the trust space over the last couple of years. This shouldn't come as a massive surprise to any trust. This really is just bringing it into the net and sort of bringing them up to the same standards and expectations of other taxpayers.
Yeah, that is evident by the particular changes that they've made. They've made the changes to comply with the Act, but it is a lot of the stuff isn't new that they're asking. They are just enforcing it. And that is, and administratively, it's a lot, but the way they are doing it is we expect that administration additional burden will only last for about 1 or 2 years until they start pre-populating the info that we have submitted over the past months. Then that administrative burden should in fact slow down a bit. But from where we are sitting, we are seeing the need, we are seeing what they're trying to do, and it's a bit confusing as to why the industry is not picking up with getting trust compliance to the fore.
And there is, I mean, if I'm submitting a tax return, it's, I mean, we can, varying degrees of simplicity. With trusts, there is a little bit more. For example, they want the minutes of trust meetings, resolutions passed. So there is a little more to the compliance process.
Yeah, what they've done is one of the big changes is the expanded reporting. So now it's compulsory for trusts to submit your trust deed, letter of authorities, your beneficial ownership register. And with the example that you made with regards to the resolutions and minutes of trust meetings, what we normally did over the last, is we would only submit the resolutions that was applicable, that spoke to, say for instance, that spoke to beneficiary distributions. SARS came out and said, no, because transactions within trust is resolution-based, the trustee must make that decision beforehand. Now you need every resolution in minutes of every meeting you need to send to SARS. Even when you resolve or the trustees decided to take a loan, that resolution must also be sent off to SARS. So they have got one of the biggest changes is the expanded reporting that they've introduced into the trust space.
Gotcha. We'll leave it there. That's Sidney Fletcher, Senior Manager, Trust and Deceased Estate Tax Compliance at Tax Consulting SA. Appreciate the early morning. That's it for today. We're chatting with Nick Kunze yesterday from Sanlam Private Wealth, talking around Sasol, reports that it may list or sell its chemicals business. We haven't had, there was interviews with the CEO, but this is a process that's going to be slow, and certainly there's been nothing on sense. We asked if you thought this would be a good value unlock for the company. About half said, yes, great idea. A third said you're staying away regardless. The rest of you said you weren't sure about it long term, and that certainly was Nick's concern. What's left in Sasol? hassle if you get rid of the chemical business. Have your vote, have your say, LinkedIn and Twitter. This podcast is brought to you by Stanlib Asset Management. Invest in more certainty to navigate volatile market conditions. We're live every weekday morning on the Moneyweb website and the app, 6:30 a.m. podcast just after 7. Thanks to my team, Eddie Nabukhle, Nicole Tulani, for you for listening, my guests for their time. My name is Simon Brown. This is Moneyweb Now. We'll chat again tomorrow. Current trends and global economies.
You've been listening to another Moneyweb Now podcast, posted every weekday at 7 a.m. on moneyweb.co.za. Moneyweb Now, on the money.